Hello everyone, this is Kira and I am here with our final video for the season, Pics of the Day, number 22. Gosh, I can't even say it right because I'm thinking about it. But yeah, this is going to be, I don't know how short this is. I kind of don't want it to be super short. I want it to be a little longer, but it might be difficult because we are only dealing with 3 pictures for this video. But I'll talk about it as much as possible. And try to get it to hit 10 minutes so that you guys don't feel cheated. But the first one is, remember, if you remember, I'm sure you do because I'm putting these out pretty quick. We just saw the mother of all blowfishes, and now this one has the blowfish on the attack. It's angry, it's about to charge towards them, and the only caption is, "Run." So they clearly dropped the camera, most likely the microphone as well, in an effort to run away from the creature. And it's pretty hilarious because instead of saying record, it now says rip, and the time just says not available. It's just no. That's hilarious. This could possibly mean that the blowfish is actually going to be in the game. Maybe it's going to be a final boss. Or not final boss. I don't know why I say final boss. But it could be like a boss. Like, you know how we used to be able to fight Vilgax and Mandark, not their fusion forms? We might be fighting the blowfish as itself to calm it down because I guarantee it's upset that one of its children ran away. And maybe all of its children ran away. Like, you know how the fusion blowfishes were running around? Well, instead of fusions, maybe they just leave them as the regular blowfish. And they go run around. It'd be interesting if you had to do, like, a overall mission. Like, one character gives you one mission, and it expands over the whole area. And it's just basically find these blowfishes and capture them. And of course, since this is a an MMO, I'm not even going to try, I'm sorry. Since this is an MMO, hold on, I can do this. Okay, I can do this. Since this is an MMO, obviously the assets can't just disappear. They'll come back, but like it'll notify that, oh, you beat it, so you captured it. And I'm doing air quotes. I know you guys can't see it, but you know, when I say it, just imagine that. That'd be a fun little like overall mission. I think it'd be more fun if there were overarching missions in the sense that it expands the whole map instead of just one area. There's multiple things throughout the world, and over the course of the game, you fulfill these missions as you encounter them. Food for thought, I might draw up some people and see if we can come up with some ideas like that, if anyone thinks it's a good idea. Our next picture has us in front of the screen, like how some people do. They'll stand in front of a green screen and point to the video, and there it is. So we have Argos there upset because obviously they dropped the footage right then as the blowfish was cutting out. Which makes me wonder how they got the video, unless it was live fed to them, which is possible. I wouldn't doubt if it was live fed because it sounds like he's talking to him in person, but who knows. What's cool is the weird world comes back, so it looks like television, you know? Not only were you seeing the camera from like the not only you only seeing the interviews from the camera position, but now you're seeing it from like a TV position here. Like you're watching the show and they put their little watermark at the bottom to remind you what you're watching. It's just hilarious seeing how Argos goes from upset to business in like a second. He's like, this is all you've got? That's all you managed? And then he's like, well, I suppose that's our show and we'll see you next time. I think Weird World will pop up again. I just had an idea of Argos and Hex grouping up, but I feel like they would be at each other's necks, you know? Like they wouldn't be able to get along and would just start undermining each other, which is an issue for a lot of the villains. They'll undermine each other. No, there's no love lost between them. But Argos and Hex seem like an interesting one because Hex wants magical creatures and Argos is more just like the supernatural creatures, but maybe they can work something out. Who knows? That's more food for thought. And we are now at the final picture of the season. I have managed to catch up before 2016 is over. That's right. It's a cool picture, honestly. For me, I think it's cool. It's a lineup of all of the characters so far, and someone has mentioned that a couple characters are missing. I guess that's true. I just can't think of who is missing so far. But it's just all of them lined up. Some of them close to each other depending on where they're located or what they're representing. Like you've got the Nowheres. You got Haunted Ridge with Ray Ray and Gwen, but Ben's there because Ben and Gwen are cousins. And it just goes from there. And I don't know. Something about seeing that just always looked cool to me. Like in shows when they had all the characters lined up. Maybe it goes all the way back to the Justice League, the animated show, when the opening sequence has all of them walking up and then at the end they're all standing together. It feels cool. It's a nice little update thing to show you all the models they have so far that are completed and that have been shown. And of course little Boomer and Jackie and Slinkman and Robot Jones and Rolf is there. I almost forgot that they had Rolf as an actual model. You didn't see too much of him. I would love to see him and the rest of the cul-de-sac boys and Sarah and Naz. I'd like to see the cul-de-sac kids again. That'd be nice. I really hope they bring Kevin in. I think he'd be such a fun one. Not Benton Kevin, which I am also interested, but I've seen his Omniverse look and he's rough. But I would like to see the Ed and Eddie Kevin again because I think he'd be a fun one. I still do wonder for the Ed and Eddie if the big picture show is being acknowledged in this universe. Because for those of you who haven't seen it, I'm about to spoil it for you, so you can pause it or end the video here if you want. But the Eds were finally accepted by them after they saw the treatment he received from his brother, which if his brother ends up here, I might actually try to find a way to kill that character. But they saw the abuse that Eddie was receiving from his brother and realized that I wouldn't say it absolved Eddie of all his problems, but it definitely, they understood that it wasn't just because he was a creep. It was, well, he saw his brother do it and he was trying to be his brother and he's just been abused. So they came to accept it. I usually maintain that while the kids are on better terms with them, they are still exasperated with Eddie's schemes, and that while he has toned it back, he's still a businessman at heart. He tries to be a little bit more sincere with his schemes, but he still scams them a couple times. And for the most part, the kids put up with it, but they just tell him where to shove it. I don't know. I might talk about later about where I think how I think some of the interactions should go. I've been meaning to. I'll do another channel update to talk to everyone because I want some new things for this coming year. I want to start getting into actual conversations with people. But that'll be for the channel update. I want to focus on the Pics of the day, and I like the evolution that it's had. At the start of it, it was mostly locations. We got to see certain places, and for the most part, that was still the same. We still saw like ponds and the Skull Rocks and the Townsville Zoo and all of those. But towards the end, we started seeing more character models. We got to see the Gangrene Gang, and we got to see Ray Ray and Monroe and Finn and Ed and BMO and Blue and Argos and Darwin and Muscle Man, Slinkman, High Five Ghosts. I don't know. So we got to see more characters, and that's possible because of the arc itself, that because it was an interview, you had to show more characters than locations. And if so, is season 2 going to have sort of a trade-off? Like you'll get a certain number of areas and a certain number of characters, because I like both. I do like seeing which characters we have and seeing who they're with, because that definitely draws in the character interactions, which was my favorite thing about Fusion Fall. Back when it was being advertised, when it was first up on the website before the betas, it was advertised that you got to see a lot of your favorite cartoon characters interact with you and interact with each other, and that was always a big draw. That's why I loved the crossover episodes a lot, because you got to see characters interact and how they would respond to each other. So we get to see more of those, but we also get to have world building with the beautiful areas. I've mentioned how their forests and their lakes are just so beautiful to look at, because you can imagine the water rippling or the trees swaying to the breeze. I don't know what's in store for season 2. I don't know if there's going to be more characters, less characters, more areas, less. So we're all going to have to see. These characters might be reappearing in season 2, the ones that have already been seen. If not, it'll be exciting to see new characters and see their new models and get an idea of who's going to come. I know they no longer do the shadows, or the silhouettes, I should say, because now they're just doing the character models. But it would be nice if either at the end of the game or at the end of the next season of Pics of the Day, or right before the game is opened, to have a colored version of all of the characters revealed. I think that'd be a really neat thing to look at. Just because I like collages like that. Like when the original game had the collages of the new characters being in the adventure expansion, that was a pretty cool thing, because you got to see all of them together. So if they would do something, that'd be cool. They don't have to. It's their choice. But just seeing all the characters, it's a lot of fun. It makes it feel better. Here's the characters. We finished season 1 with them, and they're waiting for us in Legacy. You know, maybe that's the feeling. That's why I like it so much. I can't really describe it. I wish I could. I wish I could describe how it feels better, but maybe some of you get it, and maybe you can describe it better. But that's going to be pretty much it for season 1. We're coming back, or season 2 is supposed to start in January, which means I've caught up, and I'm just waiting for them to catch up. No, once it starts, I'm going to do my Pics of the Day. I don't know if I'm just going to continue numbering them like 23 or something, or if I might break them off and rename everything from season 1 to season 2. That'll be something to debate when I talk about my channel updates, so keep an eye out for that. I'm going to catch you guys all on the forums. And I hope you guys will have a happy New Year's.